Ni hao. To help our friends in the translation booth, I'm going to try to stick to a script, which I normally don't do, but bear with me. As it was just said, my name is Nikolay. I'm coming here from Canada, from PressReader, from a technology company that helps publishers to connect and reach audiences all over the world. We only have a few minutes here today, so I do want to keep it short and hopefully helpful. And we want to talk about technology. That's the world that I come from in PressReader. So I know all about this very interesting relationship, a push and a pull between new technology and content creators like yourselves. Today what I'd really like you to do is to have you think a bit differently about technology. We often say it's a powerful tool. It's something we can use and tap into, bringing it out only when we need it. But that's not really the case, is it? In reality, technology doesn't simply enable new business models, it necessitates them, and it helps them, right? We can see that advertisers are becoming smarter by the day. Advertisers are becoming more intelligent. They're becoming more precise. They're thinking ahead. They're getting to know their audiences so well that predictive algorithms are serving up ads for things you want before you know you want them. They've been cozying up to digital media and buying space on large ad networks. And there they're counting individual impressions, tracking clicks, and collecting an engaged audience. Publishing and advertising are really not that different. Not that different in this. Simply creating a notification strategy so you're buzzing in someone's pocket, or devoting new teams to measuring clicks and optimizing the numbers is not enough. Not anymore. And here's why. New technology has given readers more power, more freedom, more options, more chances to mute out the noise. Turning you off, tuning you out has become super easy. So what do we do? What does the magazine publishing industry do? Do we adjust what we do? Change our businesses? Do we add more and more digital departments so that we move further away from what it is that we do best, and that is creating content? Or do we instead embrace those disruptors? Do we put these new tools, digital or otherwise, to work for us? Do we maybe even offer advertisers something more than just eyeballs? Do we even offer readers something more than just words to read? What if we found new, personalized, more immediate ways to connect directly with our readers? Take a look at an example of the publishers across the industry. And this actually applies to newspapers as well, so as you see in the graph. We're seeing it everywhere. It's a mad rush to quickly grasp the subscription revenue and focus on that, the subscription revenue from readers. We want to take money directly from our readers and cut out the advertising and just be done with it. That's great, if you can do it. And I don't mean to say that your content is not strong enough, no. I don't mean to say that you haven't built great brands with loyal readers who get real value out of what you produce. No, not at all. What I mean to say is that there is another way. Many other ways, in fact. And that's the whole point. That's the reason I'm here today, so you'll hear me say it a lot. There are many other ways. We need to think about diversifying our business models. We need to think holistically about readers and how we fit into their lives, their routines. It's true that there are publishers that draw in the readers they need and want. They can survive on subscription revenues alone from those readers. The New York Times, for example, or Game Informer. In fact, Wolfgang Blau of Condé Nast has given an interview to the New York Times yesterday, and he said that the only businesses that will survive in this are newspapers of record and media groups who own certain niches. So this is very fitting. But as this chart shows, it's only a small percentage of people who are willing to pay for digital news. And you can see that it's pretty much the same whether you're in Spain, Japan, France, Germany, Scandinavia, and so on. Now, because of the precision of new technology and more awareness of understanding from all angles, a lot of publishers are coming to terms with the fact that their actual audiences are far smaller than they thought. They can't survive on subscription revenue alone. And it's difficult to convert audiences into paid subscribers and creating products people are willing to pay for. Pricing, marketing, and talent are also challenging. And then, of course, you have to deal with churn, which is incredibly high in this volatile market. And that's why diversification is so important. But somehow it continues to be a low priority for content creators and for magazine publishers, despite all the challenges and obstacles and failures we see when publishers chase digital advertising revenue or subscription revenue at expense of all else. Subscription and advertising revenue are the 4 highest priorities, even though they have proven time and again to underperform overall. So let's stop thinking about our audiences in terms of platform. That's the first step. Let's stop thinking about print readers and digital readers and audio consumers. Those behaviors don't separate distinct audiences. It's more likely that each member of your audience consumes content in a number of different ways at a number of different times. We can also see from this research that the way people consume content is really a function of when and where they're getting it, not just who they are. There are, of course, some publishing brands that realize this and work to address it. Magazines and newspapers like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Globe and Mail from Canada, the Guardian, Financial Times, Shifted from Scandinavia, all investing into big or smart data, as we prefer to call it, in making good content and platform recommendations to their audiences. Shifted, for example, they're able to predict early on gender, age, location, and interest for all their site visitors. And they use machine learning to detect those content preferences of their users so they can better deliver relevant recommendations in a format that makes sense to the reader. Also, we can see that all those publishers have diversified their business models. They've created some new products, they've repackaged, they've reformatted, they've explored events and interactions and community building initiatives. Actually, some of the best players in the world are the independent publications. They own their niches, as I just quoted Wolfgang Blau. Niche magazines with strong digital communities. Indie publications like arts and culture rags are relying on crowdfunding and a sense of ownership among their readers. Others, like popular slow lifestyle magazines like Kinfolk and Inventory, have actually taken up both digital and physical retail locations that sell the pieces discussed in their publications. And they help readers to connect with content that they've actually read, with a much deeper reading experience. Sure, a physical retail location might not be it for everyone, might not be the correct strategy for all of us. But it's clear to see that diversification works. And diversifying our business models, we're able to hit the right people at the right time. Now, I'm not saying that we all need to create individual experiences tailored to our different target audience groups and build a bunch of brand new products. No. I'm saying that even those publishers who do rely on just 1 or 2 models of revenue do so in a way that is varied and in line with their audience behavior. Here are some examples that I'd like to share with you. By understanding the passions and interests of its audience, the Globe and Mail, together with their 30+ data scientists, selectively targeted a small segment of their most engaged readers and invited them to an exclusive river cruise in Europe that would cost each of the 150 travelers several thousand dollars, about $10,000. In just a matter of days, the cruise was sold out. In fact, it took about 2.5 days to sell it out, without the need for any further promotion or enticement. Forget about the millions that the publisher has created from this event. Just think about the real gold they unearthed, and that is the intelligence data collected from every passenger as they listened to special speakers and interacted with journalists and editors for a whole week. In 2017, the Financial Times hosted 10 editorial-led Engage events in London to build more direct relationships with its subscribers and attract new ones. And engagement scores for attending subscribers using their proprietary editorial analytics tool grew about 300% on average, prompting the publisher to expand this program internationally. Future PLC. Their diversified portfolio also includes a number of highly popular events such as the Golden Joystick Awards, the Photography Show, and the T3 Gadget Awards. If you've listened to me before, you know that Monocle is a favorite of mine. It's a publication that speaks to me. And in 2007, when they launched it as a magazine, they focused on global affairs, business, culture, and design. Just in a magazine, a printed magazine. They stuck to it 11 years later, but today it has really grown into a complete media brand that also includes a retail network spanning multiple continents, Monocle Restaurant Awards, Monocle 24 Radio, an online business, and more recently, a quality of life conference. And even smaller magazines, like the one that we have in Canada, it's designed for affluent men called Sharp, is finding success in events. They just launched their Book of Men event this year. All these publishers are building relationships, because if you truly want to build a community, you should think less like a manager and more like someone who is building a relationship. Some publishers are investing in new or niche products that feed people's passions. BuzzFeed's Tasty is a perfect example of that. E-commerce for independent portals, Hearst Russia's portals across Russia for various lifetime events. And content marketing, the one that's done by Future. And that's what's really important, because even the New York Times and Game Informer, the ones that I mentioned a few minutes ago, as examples that publishers who can really build a successful business on subscription revenue alone, even those brands have diversified and repackaged and rethought what they're giving to different audience groups and how they can deliver those things. The New York Times Crossword Club, the New York Times Cooking app. Those are products and business models that target very different kinds of readers, very different kinds of content consumers in very different ways. These experiences are separate. The key piece in all of this is to find an array, a variety, a system, a group of business models that all work together to build, maintain, and monetize relationships. Today, thousands of customer-first businesses, such as Air Canada, Cathay Pacific, Marriott Hotels, Silver Seas Cruises, and libraries around the world, they sponsor access to PressReader. Through our relationship with CIBTC and the strategic partnership that we've announced yesterday, that is open to publishers from mainland China as well. And the business model here is simple. It costs nothing for the publisher to join, and every time a sponsor, such as an airline, a hotel, or a library, provides that access to their guests and passengers, and that content gets consumed, the publisher gets paid by PressReader. It's a win-win-win situation all around. Readers, they get frictionless access to quality and trusted content, as well as an engaging, educational, and then entertaining experience for free. Remember what we talked about, the willingness to pay. Businesses are able to offer something unique, a unique value to their customers in an eco-friendly way, saving money while growing brand equity and loyalty. And publishers can instantly serve an audience of millions, hundreds of millions of people they couldn't possibly reach on their own, growing that reach and audited circulation and revenues. Other opportunities between publishers and brands may include sponsored issues, where an advertiser, such as Gucci, will pay a premium to get the attention of a premium target audience for their products. Again, it's now targeting to one and marketing to one as opposed to a group. Gifting of issues is another way brands can develop stronger relationships with their customers and grow loyalty. They're building on that loyalty and they're providing something of value to their customers. So you see how these models are different between all the parties, all the players in this. The model should be different between publishers and readers. These include events, member-only programs, content collaborations, and interactivity. Some of these models should be between publishers and brands, and that's the hotels, libraries, cruise ships, airlines, retail stores, coffee shops, restaurants, you name it. And others should be between brands and readers. Of course, those smart advertisers, they want to connect to your audience as much as you do. It's a way we rethink the relationship, as publishers, we rethink that relationship with advertisers and are able to provide more to the advertisers in exchange for a premium. You see how it's all connected? We see how all these pieces support one another. We see how diversity in our thinking and our approaches is required. And it's not enabled by technology. Like I said before, it's necessitated by it. So if there is one thing that I'd like for you to take away from my presentation today, is that new technology is not a tool that we have at our disposal. It's not an enemy that we are fighting against. We're not trying to outdo the giant tech companies to create competing algorithms. And we're also not trying to replace the street corner magazine stands with buzzes in our pockets. In fact, they're essentially the same thing. Instead, we're going to see new technology for what it really is, reality. It's the world we live in, the world our audiences live in. It shapes and touches everything they do and see and hear and read and talk about. It's our job now to figure out where we fit. How can we be a real part of this dynamic world? How do we change and shift and adapt our business models? I'm not sure we do yet. In fact, I also don't think that it's the evolution we're after. No, it's diversification. Not a catch-all, try it out, see if anything works approach, but a thoughtful approach that gives the audience the kind of options and control they expect, while giving advertisers the kind of extra value and opportunities they're looking for. And this is what we write about in our magazine, the research that we do in working together with publishers and various brands that we work. The magazine is called The Insider, and if you're a FIPP member, and we're proud to be a brand partner of FIPP, you get The Insider for free as part of your free subscription to PressReader. The Insider really examines the way the advertisers and sponsored brands are approaching relationships with publishers, and how they're trying to get closer to the consumer as well. The new issue of The Insider is coming out at the end of this month, and there's a lot more on this topic in that issue, so I invite you to read it. With that, I thank you for your attention. Shishe.